A prominent Democrat just revealed the impending fate of Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and who could replace him as leader of Senate Democrats. If you're still angry about the shutdown, if you think Chuck Schumer has surpassed his sell-by date and needs replacing, get comfortable. This story is about to get you excited. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. Last week saw the longest government shutdown in U.S. history finally come to a close, though not everyone was happy about that. Recall that Democrats initially shut down the government over a failure of Republicans to pass healthcare subsidies as part of a new budget. Democrats held out on voting for any bill that did not contain those subsidies until, of course, 8 Democrats in the Senate crossed party lines to vote for a budget that did not contain them. And the man getting the most heat for that folding? Senator Chuck Schumer. Have a look.
President Trump continues hammering Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
He thought he could break the Republicans, and the Republicans broke him.
Blaming the Democratic leader for the shutdown and accusing him of losing control of his party.
You know, he was a pretty talented guy. He's lost his talent.
But the harsher criticism may be coming from Schumer's own side. Former advisor to President Obama, David Axelrod, predicting Schumer's days as leader are numbered.
My guess is that he won't be leader of the party in 2027.
Polling data shows how much Democrats have soured on Schumer. A Pew Research survey conducted in September, so before the shutdown, found Schumer is the least popular Democratic Senate leader on record.
Look at this. He's underwater with Democrats. His own party.
I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over.
With 8 in the Democratic caucus breaking ranks to support a compromise bill to reopen the government, frustration is boiling over among party members who say Schumer failed to unite them behind a clear strategy.
I mean, he's got 8 Democrats going rogue here. He himself voted against them, and that's not leadership.
House Progressive Democrat Khanna writing on X, Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. For now, Schumer is brushing off the criticism, focusing on his opposition to the compromise.
The Republicans have refused to move an inch. So I cannot support the Republican bill.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries continues to support Schumer publicly.
Leader Schumer did not bless this agreement. He voted against it. And of course, Senate Democrats who voted no have made that clear.
It doesn't sound good for Senator Schumer, does it? Well, it gets worse, so stick around. One name not mentioned in that clip, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has been tipped and who has publicly flirted with challenging Schumer in the Democratic primary for the New York Senate seat in 2028. That's still a long way off, however, so it's likely that Democrats will marginalize Schumer and his influence long before a battle for the ballot. As that clip mentioned, Congressman Khanna said last week that Schumer had lost credibility and the ability to lead. Stopping off at Meet the Press yesterday, Khanna elaborated on his claim and named the senators who could most likely succeed Schumer as leader of the Senate Democrats. Take a look. Now, this is a longish clip, so make sure to watch it all.
Let's talk about your call for Senator Schumer to step down. Some Democrats are rushing to his defense. You just heard Senator Kaine defend him. Senator Jeanne Shaheen also defended him. Here's what she had to say.
They need to train their fire on the people who are responsible. That's President Donald Trump, it's Speaker Johnson, and it's the Republicans who have blocked every attempt to get health care. We need to be working together.
Why do you think Leader Schumer is to blame, given that Republicans have control, as Jeanne Shaheen is saying, of the White House and both chambers of Congress?
Well, there's some things I agree with both of these senators. Senator Kaine said that Senator Schumer was terrific under President Biden, and he was. I worked with him on the CHIPS and Science Act. That would not have passed if it weren't for Senator Schumer's leadership. Same with the infrastructure bill and IRA. And Senator Shaheen is right that the biggest culprit is Donald Trump and Mike Johnson. The question is, what is the future of Democratic leadership? Who is going to be effective? And most Democrats around the country just don't think that person is Chuck Schumer. I mean, he doesn't inspire confidence. He's not bold. He's out of touch with the grassroots. He's someone who cheerled us into the war in Iraq. He doesn't have the moral clarity on Gaza. He couldn't say Mamdani's name. And this was the final straw where he was not strong on fighting for health care.
So who is the person who you think should lead Democrats into the future in the Senate. Who's at the top of that list for you, Congressman?
Well, Senator Kaine has already given me a hard time for just saying that their minority leader should be someone different. I think if I endorsed someone, it would probably hurt them more than help them. But we have dynamic, young, new leaders.
Who are some of the top
Chris
names?
Murphy is a top leader. Cory Booker is a dynamic leader. Brian Schatz is a dynamic leader. I mean, Elizabeth Warren is someone whose ideology I appreciate. There are a lot of great talent. And really, is Chuck Schumer, when you think about it, just from a common sense test, do you think Democrats around the country think that Chuck Schumer should be the face of the future of the Democratic Party? Of course not. And I just said out loud what people are thinking in their own private thoughts. And you know what the Democrats need to do? We need to be more independent and truth-telling in this country and bold and not rest on niceties.
Chris Murphy, Cory Booker, Brian Schatz, and Elizabeth Warren. Now that is a heck of a lineup, isn't it? And any of the four names mentioned by Congressman Khanna would actually solve another problem for Democrats, often referred to as the New York-California problem. As you may have noticed, most of the current party leadership comes from either New York or California. But none of the senators mentioned by Khanna hail from either state, which, again, signals that Democrats are far more mainstream than they get credit for. Personally, of those mentioned, I'm attracted to Booker, who gave one hell of a filibuster speech earlier this year, and to Warren. I think Senator Warren would love to be president, but besides her questionable electability, I wouldn't count on Democrats having a woman at the top of the ticket again anytime soon. Could she become the master negotiator, the lioness of the Senate? It's a tantalizing thought. Tell me what you think of this lineup in the comments, or who you would like to see replace Chuck Schumer as Democratic leader. I'd love to know what you think. This is Occupy Democrats.